What's up, guys? Eddie Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. And there is just something about the Underdog. But I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we have an absolute beast on the Underdog Talk. But before we get into this interview, you know I have to give this man a proper Underdog Talk introduction. Hailing from Beatrice, Alabama, this gentleman is an IFBB professional classic physique athlete, Air Force Airman, and trainer nutrition consultant. I mean, today's guest was the youngest person to ever receive a pro card in 2014, winning the NPC Nationals at 21 years old. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, the big fella, Terrence Ruffin. Easel, I gotta add that. Ruffin. What is up, big fella? How you doing today, man?
That is a hell of an introduction, man. I'm good. I'm good. No complaints.
And the biggest surprise to me is we all know you as that bodybuilder and that Air Force Airman. I mean, that surprised me, man. And obviously that is a part of who you are and a reason actually why you are a bodybuilder, which we'll look into. But before we even get into this interview, I have to say your us posing video, oh, that was scary as hell, man. That was scary as hell. What was that for?
It was just an idea I had. I mean, I had been trying for years to do posing routines that kind of seemed like music videos, and the timing was just Halloween. Me and Paul Hood, he works over at Still Supplements. I've known him for a while, and we just got together and made it happen. It was difficult finding like a videographer that could understand my concept and my idea. And luckily, Paul was in the bodybuilding world since he was born. So him being a good poser in the bodybuilding world, but also being a fantastic videographer, he was able to make it happen.
And I mean, it was good. It felt like it was a music video. It felt like you weren't on stage. The whole Matrix, obviously, that's what you wanted it. Now I want to take it way back. Obviously, you grew up, in Beatrice, Alabama. And, really, to me, it's funny. Your first taste of bodybuilding, you talk about came at the age of 13 when you snuck into your mother's friend's gym to
Oh
play
yeah.
with the weights. Do you remember really the first time you fell in love with bodybuilding and just fitness in general?
I mean, I've been into fitness all my life. It was, I think, a way for my mom to keep me busy. But yeah, I mean, my first sport was soccer. Then we went on to track and football and kickboxing, and then finally in high school we stuck with just football. But yeah, it's been all my life.
And I mean, something that really happened in your life before your bodybuilding career was obviously at the age of 17, where you did decide to join the Air Force as a way to kind of, you talk about escape. You didn't want to go to college and you saw the armed forces as a way to learn new skills, which obviously it is. Would you mind talking a little more about this adventure? And obviously, thank you for your service, sir. But would you mind talking a little more about this?
Yeah. I grew up in a single parent household, and in high school, my favorite teacher was a guy named Major Brown. Still to this day, I don't know his first name. His first name is Major, and he was in charge of the JROTC program, basically a program that's kind of like the military. You learn about the military, but it teaches you discipline and stuff like that. So I got to do that in high school, and I really enjoyed it. Um, and so, when my mom said, I graduated early at the age of 17, and I wanted to just hang around with my friends, but she's like, you can't do that. You need to get out and do something with your life. And so I was like, all right, I had a great time in the military, so in JROTC, so let me join the Air Force. Yeah, so joined at 17, and it was an interesting journey.
And an interesting journey it was. And one quote kind of stands out to me, and that's really where I discovered you. You go, when I went to the gym, all the worries and trials and whatnot, they all kind of just sort of left. It was kind of a therapy. You can kind of get out frustration, and you're too tired to worry about anything else afterwards. And obviously, I want to jump right into that quote. As obviously, the lightweight category, they read your name as a first place, and you talk about how you were completely shocked, with this victory, obviously, which you won your pro card. Would you mind talking about the training that went into being, the youngest competitor of all time, especially at the age of 21 years old? What was that all like?
Well, I'll bring it back to my first show. First show, I was very confident. I was obviously overconfident. I saw this kid who had won the show the year before me. I guess he was 17 at the time, and in my mind, I was okay. He's turning 18. You can still do the teenager division. So, my goal was just to beat that guy. The whole 12 weeks I prepped for that show, that was my thought process. That was my goal, and um, the day comes, we hop on stage, and he didn't even do the teenager category. That was below him at that point. He had won that. He had went to the open, and so I also had did the open, and I'm like, okay, I'm hopping on stage with him now. It was the goal still the same, and there was about 5 of us, not a big show, and I ended up placing last, dead last, and he won the show, and so um many people, when that something like that happens, they tend to retreat, they tend to doubt themselves, they tend to say, oh, this isn't for me. But for me, it light a fire under me, I was raised to believe, like, when life, knocks you down, you get back up and you keep pushing. So um the whole year after that, I focus all my effort, all my attention onto bodybuilding. I didn't go out. I didn't buy unnecessary things because I was on a budget. I didn't have a smartphone. I didn't have Wi-Fi. I didn't buy shoes. Nothing. Um, and so the next year came. I won that show. I won the novice overall in my class, and so in my mind, I thought I would go try to get my pro card at 180 pounds. Back in that time, that's who the people I saw on stage at my height. They were around 180, 190. I thought it's going to take me to that point to get to the pro stage. So um, that was my goal. And then I met this guy named Nick Trigilli. He was dating some girl in my town, and he was like, yo, bro, I think you should go to nationals. I reached out to a judge. They said you look great. You should go. Could not afford to go to USA's, which was a couple weeks later. So I had to save up to go to nationals. But once we got there, um, we ended up winning. I was honestly shocked. I definitely thought it would take me longer to get to that point. I definitely didn't see it happening in that way, but I was grateful.
And as I mentioned earlier, there is something about the underdog. That's why this podcast attracts people, because there is no one hungrier than the underdog. And that's the crazy thing. When you have that mentality of, okay, they slept on me. Watch this. Watch this. You did as with that pro card in your belt. You decided that, 2016 would be a big year for you. That's the year you kind of wanted to shine and compete against the world's finest physiques. You competed in a major 5 competitions that year. And the thing is, you landed a podium finish at 4 of them. I mean, so what advice would you give for someone who is looking to become a bodybuilder, who is looking to chase that dream of bodybuilding like you once were, sir?
Advice. Oh man. Advice I would give to someone just starting out would be to, in my mind, when I'm always when I want to do something, and they're lucky because a lot of people have been in the sport now. I always say, if I've seen someone do it before, then that means it can be done. In every single sport, the first person to break a record, or break past or get over some hump, then everyone else starts to do it. I mean, look at the sports back, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. The numbers they put up in every single sport are like what amateurs do, what high school kids do nowadays. So I would definitely say, like, follow in the footsteps of the people before you. Besides that, learn as much as possible. That is another reason I was able to do so well so young. Uh, I listened. I was able to avoid a lot of the obstacles people face because I listened to people older than me who had already been through it. You know.
And there's something about the coach. There's something about people who've been there, and obviously you are a coach, and you are an elite coach because you've seen, you've learned. Now, I kind of want to turn it towards the current bodybuilding. Where do you see current bodybuilding going? Do you see it going in a good way, or do you see it, fading? Where do you see it going?
Well, I think it's growing. Um, Certain divisions will, I think, will start to kind of become a little bit more popular, maybe some a little less popular. But overall, I think the sport's in a really good spot. Open bodybuilding. I know for many, many years people were talking about they didn't like the way the physiques were looking, but nowadays with like guys like Ian and the Andrew Jatt guy,
Let him.
Hunter, even Nick Walker, even though people don't like his physique, he is meticulous about keeping his waist tight and doing everything he can to have the best physique on stage. And the guys, the mentality all of them have is really, really good. They've really set the standard and above all the guys in the 90s. Being in the sport, I know a lot of people may not know this, but a lot of the top guys from the 90s don't have the highest reputation in the industry. But all the guys coming up, man, they are stand-up people. They are awesome people. And yeah, man, I love to hang out with them.
And I so agree. And we've been lucky in the past month to have Andrew Jack, Derek Lunsford, William Bonac, and Blessings on the show. And I love the future of the
Mhm.
open class. Now I also love the future of your class, sir. Is obviously, let's just say it. You are competing in this year's Mr. Olympia. And I mean, it is going to be an exciting one. Obviously, there's going to be really a big three we have in your class. You, Breon, and obviously C-Bum. How has training been different for you going into this year's Mr. Olympia?
It hasn't changed much, man. Overall, like it's for me, it's just been time. I think sometimes, as long as you're seeing progress, that means you're doing something right. And especially the longer you get in this game, the longer you're in this sport, the slower those gains come, the slower that progress comes. So, I've always known that I would get to this point. I just knew it would be a matter of time. So nothing really different. Still bringing the upper body up to match the legs. Still trying to improve on my posing where I can, really set the standard there. And I think unintentionally, the only difference is I had off season this time. The past 2 years have been very hectic in my life, so this is the first time I've actually been able to um, be productive, in a bodybuilding sense.
And it's interesting you say that because when we had Kevin Lavroni on, he talks about how he did use the off season to not just train, but to
Yeah.
grow because bodybuilding is as much as we don't want to admit it, it's a mental sport too. And that off season, I'm sure Terrence allowed you to kind of recoup, get back into that sport, find yourself, just find okay, this is how I'm going to go into this competition. And I think you have a damn good chance at winning because I've never seen anyone with the posing that you have brought to this stage because it is fantastic. It is incredible. You, sir, are what we need in bodybuilding. So best of luck, obviously, for the Mr. Olympia that is coming up in December. I mean, guys, support the man, Terrence. It's gonna be damn exciting, and I'm excited to watch you and obviously the competition. What is this your third Mr. O?
I've been at every Miss Olympia except one that I decided to sat out. So 2016 is about five.
Uh,
Yeah.
and obviously this year will be the most prize money. Is that correct?
I actually don't know what the prize money is. I hope so. I hope they hopefully the Olympia and the Arnold keep fighting over who has the most. They could fight for the rest of the time if all I care. Yeah.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with the coach, the athlete, the bodybuilder, the entertainer. Now, obviously, I loved everything you had to say. I do like to get my guests out of here with some rapid fire questions. Are you game, sir?
Yeah, of course.
Favorite cheat meal?
I'm pretty boring. After the last two shows I had sushi and Brazilian steakhouse and fruit. Yeah.
So the second you stepped off the stage, that's what you had?
The second I stepped off the stage, I have fruit. But when I get back to the house, I have Uber Eats bring me sushi and Brazilian steakhouse.
You, you got a good, cheat meal after you're off stage. Fruit, I mean, golly, fruit, vegetables, and a little
I
protein.
tell most people that, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's boring."
Oh man, I remember I stepped off stage. I was quivering. I grabbed a piece of pizza, and oh man. Now, what is your go-to post-workout meal?
Post workout meal, protein shake and cereal. Yeah.
Yeah, and granite's got some good protein. I'm gonna plug it in there just because Caleb was on the show and sent me some darn good stuff. And obviously,
Yeah, I see I see you got some product over there.
yeah, he sent me some stuff, and obviously the legacy of just simply one of the best to ever just be in the bodybuilding industry. Such a great brand, and obviously, their counterpart. So I mean, just a great brand, great people you're working with, and obviously, I'm so happy to see you with such a good company.
No, thank you.
Box Rocky in his prime, or talk like Rocky Balboa for the rest of your life.
I'll box. Yeah, I like the way I talk. I might get my butt whooped and end up talking like him anyway, but I'll take the chances.
You see, I like the way I talk, but I'm not getting in the ring with that killer. So hey, I'm out of this one. You are more of a fighter than me, obviously. The last one is big one. Pull-ups or chin-ups?
Uh, I guess pull up, so why not?
I mean, that is the correct answer. So you have nothing to hesitate on. I mean, pull-ups are the true test of strength. But I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Terrence, I mean, you are just a class act. It's been an honor and privilege. Now, before we go, is there anything you want to plug? Where can we find your coaching? Where can we find your social media? What's that code we can use for Granite Supplements?
There we go. Obviously, they brought me on the Granite to be to lead the company in a different direction, or kind of rebranded in a sense, which has been great. The code is Rough D. For coaching, Iron Eating Coaching. That's the Instagram page, and basically, we're actually announcing a new coach tomorrow. I just got off the phone call and finalized all the details. So we're at 5 coaches now on the roster. So check us out. We're building a community. I mean, not many people have, they give you a meal plan, training plan, cardio supplements. They read your lab work, even if you're natural. That's a good idea to do. Video feedback, posing critiques, training video feedback, and a Discord community group to ask questions with all the coaches. So, yeah, it's a lot. We offer a lot there. Yeah.
And I mean, first person to go check out Granite Supplements and use Terrence's code. Not only will I send you a Granite Supplement product, I'll also send you a signed autograph from the legendary guest we've had. I mean,
Yo, we're actually they actually supposed to be sending me some posters to sign. So when they buy the stack, the Rough Diesel stack, they can get a signed poster from me too. So
what is in the Rough Diesel stack?
It depends. We have a bulking stack and a cutting stack. So based on your needs, I've kind of chosen out certain things that kind of align with the goals better. So I didn't want to just do a stat because I'm like, oh well, what if they're doing this or what if they're doing that? Certain supplements don't really go well with each one. So it's really like fine tuned for whatever their goal may be.
Wow. I mean, please go check that out. And if you can get a free poster from the man himself, hey, I mean, that is worth the price in itself. I mean, guys, thanks for watching. Please go check out Terrence's content. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Until next time, guys, Underdog out.